Mid-Ohio became a nail-biter for the GT1 win. But after a brilliant move, Salehi sunk his own ship with an unforced error. However, if the U.S. tracks seem tough, today might feel nearly impossible. Bathurst is known as one of the most challenging circuits in the world. We'll get to see why as we get ready to watch round 20 of the Porsche Owners Club Series. And you'll see it all live here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth is DJ Clark. Behind the scenes is our director, Zach Johnson, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Whether you consider it a true street course or not, Bathurst doesn't take kindly to those who underestimate it. Let's head to our track guide to learn more. Welcome to Mount Panorama Circuit. Most drivers simply refer to this place as Bathurst, with it being located just to the southwest of the city's major hub. But most ominously, and perhaps appropriately, it's been nicknamed the Mountain. With more than 500 feet of elevation change over the course of a lap, it's easy to understand why. Though originally built for racing, it's become a street circuit over time, with the track itself used for regular traffic and featuring residential housing all along the roads. This makes this 4-mile, 23-turn course incredibly unique in the world of racing. In the past, the track has hosted a variety of types of cars, including open-wheelers. But modern safety standards means that most competitive racing has now been limited to sports cars and touring cars. However, the dangers are very real due to the incredibly high speeds and lack of runoff throughout much of the circuit. The quickest parts are the run up the mountain straight towards Griffin's Bend, and then the flat-out blast back down the Conrad Straight and into the chase. This chicane was added in the late 80s to break up the run down to Murray's Corner. But while most chicanes are derided for ruining the character of a track, the terrifying speed as you approach it and the general difficulty make it fit right in with Bathurst challenges. However, the toughest portions are undoubtedly along the mountain itself, with notorious corners like the Cutting, Brock's Skyline, the Dipper, and Forest Elbow. In fact, one of the more unique worries of this course is that all of these parts are so narrow that track blockages due to wrecks are not uncommon in the first few laps. The Australian fans often line the fences and hillsides to witness the daredevil spectacle of drivers trying to claim King of the Mountain. You can't blame them with how rare of a sight a track like Bathurst is today. Well, DJ, I'll give these guys credit. When they made this schedule, they did not shy away from the tough ones, and this one will be up there, I'm sure.
It most certainly will, Joe. To call the Mount Panorama Circuit tricky is to do an injustice to the word tricky. This is one of the hardest tracks to get right anywhere in the world. And looking at it, you may not think so, just looking at that overhead map. But from the minute you take on that first right-hander after the mountain straight and make your way up the hill, it is a non-stop roller coaster up and down. There is almost no passing there for the second sector of this lap. It's all about just keeping the car wound up under you. You can get some really great passing opportunities going down into the chase as well into Murray's Corner. We've also seen a few good passes get made into Quarry Bend. But more than anything, it is just staying out of the walls on the run up and down the hill. And for these Porsche drivers, I think the driver who is able to stay out of the walls the most, well, they're going to be the ones that's going to come home with a trophy.
I think that's a safe bet. But before we get to that racing, let's remind you of our sponsors. It includes Porsche. There is no substitute. Find out more at Porsche.com. And Sunset Mortgage. Don't put your money in the bank, be the bank. Check them out today at sunsetcash.net. As well as Octavio Tequila. Celebrate now. For a great tasting tequila, go to octaviotequila.com and purchase today. And finally, Century Financial Consultants, making the rest of your life the best of your life. You can check out their website at centuryretire.com. Take a look at the championship right now. Up at the top of the GT1 standings currently, Travis Brown leads the way. Now, keep in mind, this is with the drop weeks taken into account on these drivers. So Corey Lotvilla back by a whole 32 now, and it is 20 points for the win, with Salehi, Johnson, and Fulton following up behind them. Johnson's had some good momentum lately, but he's really got to start making inroads. And it's Salehi who perhaps has one of the best chances to see if he can do something on Travis Brown. We also have the GT2 class. DJ, how's that one?
Well, it continues to be Jerry Freckelson out front to the big tune of 55 points to John Momeyer. That also includes those drop weeks. So that is really and truly hard to overcome here. Mark Rondeau only 22 points back of Momeyer. Rondeau has been coming on some good form lately, so it may be a little bit of a battle shaping up there for P2. Aaron Edwards, a decent ways back as well, but that could be competitive down the stretch. And Jad Duncan, though, looking only about 9 points back of Aaron Edwards. We have seen Jad have some massive speed as of late, qualifying with a bunch of poles here recently, so he is one to keep an eye on.
Now for today's event, it's similar to all of our other sprint races, so it's only 30 minutes long. And I'm sure some of the drivers will be happy about that once they try and race competitively here. But it's getting late in the season. You can see we've only got 5 left, including today. So drivers really need to get on it. And there's the 2 different cars that they race in each of the classes. GT1s are the GTE RSRs, and the GT4s are the GT2 class here on the track. Open setup. Let's hope that the drivers are able to trim them out and make them fast while not too loose up the mountain, because that's probably going to be a big part of finding speed out there today. They're in the last moments of the qualifying, with Ost on the provisional pole for the GT1s and Rondeau on the provisional pole for GT2, both within roughly 0.07 of a second of P2.
Yeah, it's a very close battle there up at the top, and in the way things are shaping out, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a little bit of a 2-horse race there developing. Now, the one thing to keep in mind around here with the multi-class field is that idea of lapped traffic. Now, a 30-minute race around here, we're seeing the GT1s put down times just under 2 minutes. I think that means that they're going to catch these guys before the end of the race, and if you catch lap traffic coming up and down the hill, oi, 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 you've either got to have patience to no end, or you have got to make a very gutsy move that could end in tears for both class of drivers.
Yeah, and if it happens towards the end of the race when we've got a battle for an important position, that'll make it even sketchier, I got to imagine, coming down the hill here as we watch the, well, now we switched over to one of our drivers in the chase. This is Jad Duncan, who's trying to chase, actually, Mark Rondeau, who's not out on track. He has time to get back out there if he wants to increase that pole position time. Duncan, this one not going to count for him, so he must have either been on an outlap or not had a great lap there. So see Michael Ost getting ready to cross the line as well. Let's see if he can go any quicker than Salehi, who is also not out on track mysteriously.
Yeah, I'm not sure why Bayon's not out. He will have time to get another one spooled up and to go here, but at the same time, I don't understand the decision not to go back out on track. If I'm one of these drivers, I want to go out and put as many laps in as I can. As, of course, as I say that, here comes Bayan out on track right now. You really just want to find the rhythm around here. Find that good flow through the hard parts of this track. And the more track time you can get, the better lap I think you'll be able to turn in.
Wonder if any of these drivers are trying to use some slipstream here, because I see Corey Lotvilla just ahead of Hollander and Fulton. So that's a few of our drivers from the mid-pack down in the GT1s that are trying to find some time as we watch the Pig head up the hill now. That is, of course, Connor Bloom in that one, the 95. That's a name we haven't seen in a while this season.
It is. It's good to see the Californian back out on track. He and Corey Lotvilla are incredibly close with their qualifying times. Lotvilla only 38 thousandths of a second behind Connor here. So he is now working his way down. There is Corey, who, of course, as soon as I say that, is able to pip his way up into third. Corey Lotvilla putting down a 1:59.7.
Ooh, okay, then. What about our challenger in the championship for the GT2s, John Momeyer, in the 6th car? He's still down in 4th. He's coming to the line now himself. And let's see, is this a decent one for him? He's got to make up, well, no, it is not a good lap. So he is on an out lap, it appears, and gets started. Has enough time for maybe 2 more out there. Let's just see how he goes on a flyer out of hell corner. Nice and tidy off onto the exit curbs, and then it's a long, long run up the mountain straight.
It certainly is. You're basically just able to sit here and take a quick breather, which is very, very thankful for a lot of these drivers before they have to concentrate on this uphill right-hander. Very easy to get off a little bit. If you take too much of that curbs, you can see the walls just coming right up to your outside. You clip too much of that entrance curbing and it'll send you right off before you even get into the hard part of the hill.
Now the cutting, the curved braking, you can see how blind it is coming in there and coming off as well. We've seen so many track blockages there when drivers get turned around in some sort of mistake. Let's hope we don't get that today. Once again, can't see a whole lot except just a little bit of road in front of you. Now up to the highest point on the track here, up towards McPhillamy Park. And it's a quick flick through there, trying to keep the car on the track. And you plunge back downhill now.
And this is supposedly one of the most spectacular views in all of racing. They're right on Skyline as he dumps down. Here is the dipper. Oh, I love that angle that you can see the cars coming down through. And then it's a quick little bend down here, a couple of little flicks into Forest Elbow, and then back onto the straightaway as it straightens out. And it's a long, long run here down the Conrad Straight to the chase.
So fun story about that. It is called Conrad Straight because this is where cars would lose the Conrad. So it basically was a tribute to all the engines that would fail. And John Momeyer in the 6th so far has not failed this lap. He tries to find his brake marker into the chase. That looks good to me. Let's see if he can get any higher than this 4th spot. Remember, he needs to be ahead of Jerry Freckelson and start outscoring him.
Yeah, he really does. One more corner here to go. This is Murray's corner, down into it, able to get the car out. That's not going to be a fast one for John. He will stay in 4th place.
So just about half a second off of his quickest time, unfortunately. Still has time for one last one as we watch yet another of our drivers come through the chase. This is Salehi, who is going to try and take the pole away from Michael Ost, who is back out on track. Brown does not improve. He just came across the line. Here's Salehi now. And 59.1, that is faster, and it's 100th faster than before, so he has not overtaken Ost.
Bayan not able to get it done there. He'll have one more crack at the apple to try to get it going. Maybe looking like he's going to have a clear track here. I thought for a second that he may have a car in front of him, but Bayan's got nice clear running up through the hill right now.
Ooh, Michael Johnson improved. He goes to 3rd out there. So the 9 car finding some pace. So we continue to watch Salehi up the hill now. Oh, that's way wide. He knows it. He's abandoning it. That was his last attempt at a good lap. So he's done.
He is done. Just a couple of drivers able to get across the line. It looks like there is a pack of GT1s right now that are going to be there to be able to do it as we watch here.
Ost goes faster. Ost gets it up to 2/10 ahead of Salehi now.
All right, Michael Ost putting down a marker. There's Michael W. Johnson. This will be his last lap, as we said. He makes his way over the highest part of the track now, trying to see if he's got anything, trying to improve on a 59.66.
Next one across is going to be Momeyer. Ahead of him, we ride on board with the Texan now. Hailing originally from Germany, though he is an American citizen. He's also a racing coach. He doesn't seem in the best condition coming down the hill. The car is hustling, but maybe a little too much. I see Momeyer coming to the line now. Can he beat Jerry Freckelson? He's got to make up a huge gap up to him on the timing sheets. No, he cannot.
So that's going to be a no good for Momeyer, but maybe Michael W. Johnson's got something in his back pocket. And yeah, Joe, you said just how tricky it is coming down the hill. With these heavy GT cars, they naturally want to carry as much speed as possible, so you've got to be very sure-footed with your left foot to get it around. Good line there through the chase, able to get it out and going here. He's got one corner left. Let's see what Michael's got.
Looks like it's going to be a competitive time, but will it be faster than his one before? He goes very wide, but he keeps it on the track. No, he's a 10th shy of his best lap, and he'll have to settle for starting from 3rd place, unfortunately. BJ Fulton was the last one to the line, but that lap was deleted. So our grid is now set here in Mount Panorama. So let's go through our starting order here today. It is Michael Ost who puts it on the pole over Bayan Salehi. Ost is one who is well down the order in the points, so he could really use a good result today. Michael Johnson could also as well after he had a big mistake at Mid-Ohio 2 weeks ago. He wants to try and keep that from happening. He'll start from 3rd. Corey Lotvilla will be in P4, our 2nd place in the championship here, as Connor Bloom starts from 5th, coming back to try and ply his hands in the Porsche Owners Club. Matt Hollander, great qualifying for him, starting from P6 today. It'll be Travis Brown on the inside of the next row in 7th, with Michael Bolton starting from 8th, and BJ Fulton 5th in the points here. Will start from 9th on the grid.
In the GT2 category, it's Jad Duncan with his 4th pole of the season here, leading off those Porsche Cayennes. Mark Rondeau will line up outside of him. Behind them, it'll be Jerry Freckelson and John Momeyer, your 2 championship contenders, with Frederick Chin in 5th in class, Larry Haas next to him, and Jason Hill bringing up the back of the field.
All right, so they start to grid up now. We're going to go racing for 30 minutes here around Bathurst. The question is, who can survive this place? Because it will show very little mercy to our drivers. Thankfully, they do have some spare cars waiting for them if they run into trouble, but they're not infinite, so they can't just waste them out there. You see most of them already winding up on the grid. Good news is at least it looks like it's pretty good track conditions here, DJ.
Yeah, about 75 degrees Fahrenheit, very, very low wind, only 2 miles an hour, and 21% humidity. I'd like to see that humidity maybe a little bit higher if possible, get a little bit more downforce in these cars, but they'll certainly make it work. I think the only concern for the drivers now is going to be the fact that they, with that 75-degree track temperature, take them a couple of corners to get those tires up to speed. So they're going to have to be a little bit wary of that as they get going up the hill.
I think we just about got everybody out there waiting for Hill and Duncan to plop their cars on the grid. And as you can see, it is not a full pace lap. They're going to start just before the chase and then be released. And that's a good thing because it takes so long just to get around here, let alone try and go too wide up across the mountain. Although I got to imagine they would probably tell them to go single file if they had to pace like that. So 5 rounds left here, DJ. The pressure's starting to be on. I'm kind of wondering, we'll have to start doing the math on these GT2s as to when Freckelson will have wrapped it up. They get 4 drop weeks, but he's got such an advantage. I'm thinking he's probably going to get this before the final round.
Yeah, I think that's right, Joe. We'll have to do the math, as you said, here off screen to try to figure that out. But as for right now, oh, Jerry Freckelson not gridding. There's a problem.
Uh-oh. I thought he was out there earlier. I don't know what is going on. We'll try and investigate that, see if we can get some information. But in the meantime, this is a huge boon to Momeyer, especially since Freckelson is going to have to try and make up a lot of time. Here we go. Michael Ost has control of the field as they come out of Murray's, looking for the green flag. And the green flag is out. He is off, but it looked like a very good jump from Michael Johnson. Does he dare take it 3 wide? No. He's going to back out of it. Oh, but he gives a little bit of a hit to the back and a double one. And Salehi is the one that comes off the worst. He goes into the tires. And another car spinning. That's Corey Lotvilla. And that means Connor Bloom is now our leader.
It does indeed. A lot of chaos there in the GT2s the GT1s. Compare that to the GT2s. It's all pretty much straight and narrow with Jad Duncan leading Mark Rondeau. Freckelson, I think, took a pit lane start there. That's what it looks like. He is out on track. So that is the answer there. You can actually see Jerry in the back of your screen.
And it may have actually worked out well for him, because he avoided a lot of that action. Doesn't look like he's lost too much time either. All right, Bloom leads. Travis Brown is in second. Michael Johnson is third. Not sure how much damage is on that car from those 2 hits he had on the nose. Duncan leads the GT2s with Rondeau second, and Momeyer up to third already.
Yeah, that'll be a big boon for John Momeyer and hoping to keep this championship alive. But we keep focused here on the GT1 class. Connor Bloom doing a good job to keep everything together as they rise over Skyline. Now down through the S's and the Dipper. This is where Travis Brown is going to be ready to make the assault. He's got to get a good run here off Forrest's elbow. Oh, big lockup for Connor Bloom. That's going to be great sights to see for Travis Brown.
Absolutely dragged that tire around the corner. That was pretty wild. I was scared for a moment that he blew the engine. There was so much smoke there. And as they accelerate towards the chase, Bloom's not covering off right now. Brown could have the inside if he gets closer, but he runs out of straightaway. They hit the binders down into the chase, and they've got a 1.3 second gap back to Michael Johnson as well.
Yeah, they're really starting to do it. And look at that run out of the chase that Travis Brown got. He's going to look to the inside, going into Murray's corner, trying to go later on the Blakes. Broom carrying more speed around the outside, able to hold on to the position for now. But Travis Brown sending out a very clear message here to that pink pig. He wants the lead.
Certainly does. Remember, he started from back in 7th, so there's been a lot of gains here for Travis Brown. And you'd think most drivers would be happy with that, but when the win is dangled in front of you, you want it very badly. And they fly up mountain straight over the crest. Car gets very light there. Looks like they have a side-by-side battle behind them. Oh, and Michael Johnson has a problem. Michael Johnson's in the wall in Griffin's Bend.
Oh, no, I'm not sure entirely what happened to Michael W. Johnson there. It looked like he may have come up a little bit on Travis Brown and just outbraked himself. Yeah, I think that was maybe a little bit of rear brake bias getting the worst of Michael.
And he has disconnected. His race is over. That might be championship hopes over as well. Let's take another look at it.
Yeah, there's no contact there. Yep, that is 100%. Just those rear brakes locking up a little bit on him. You see the way the car just suddenly turns like that. He had a little bit too much steering lock in as he applied the brakes on.
Oh, that is disappointing to see, but this means Michael Bolton is now in 3rd. And how about Matt Hollander up to 4th today?
Yeah, it's a great run.
Oh, that was Bolton hitting the wall. He slapped the outside, and now Hollander is going to easily move on to the podium.
Oh my goodness gracious, look out for that number 69 machine as it's got a little bit of a motor in it. There you see though Michael Bolton tucking back up behind in the drafts, thinking maybe he can try to get something. I don't know how much damage was sustained there to the 127, but we'll have to pay attention here as the race goes along.
It was a big hit. It definitely looks like the wing has a bit of damage on the right-hand side. Let's see if we can see the right side of the car itself. Yeah. That's not good. Bloom just sets the fastest lap in the meantime. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. What that'll do is that'll upset the aerodynamics in the car, specifically on these long straightaways. It'll upset it and it'll slow you down a little bit. That's the way the iRacing system works. And I think right here, Bolton's going to be a sitting duck to BJ Fulton as Corey Lotvola sets the fastest lap of the race.
Corey Lotvola is on a mission to come back through. And though Fulton gains on Bolton, he's not able to overtake him. As Freckelson had an off and lost a spot to Larry Haas, so the 57 goes back to last place.
Indeed, he does. But, yeah, that battle for P4 in the GT1s right now. Fulton all over the back of the damaged Michael Bolton machine. And they've got to watch out because I believe that's Michael Ost recovering from that first turn incident. He, too, will be on a mission here.
And Ost was looking mighty fast compared to the rest of the field. So I wonder if he'll be able to make easy work of them once they are past the mountain portion of the track. Through the dipper and out towards Forest Elbow now. He's not quite close enough. I think Ost is going to have to get a great exit here as someone else locked them up into the corner with little puffs of smoke left behind. Great run from BJ Fulton. And once again, Bolton just can't do much to stop this.
No, he really can't there at this point. You can see that speed differential. I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, he's about 3 miles an hour down. So definitely the problem here. Now for Michael Ost, he's going to want to try to get this move done as quickly as possible.
Sorry, battle for the lead, and this is Bloom and Brown going at it. Travis, once again, all over the back of the Pink Pig. Through Murray's corner, he gets pinched down. Better exit from Connor Bloom, and he fends him off.
Yeah, Connor Bloom making that outside line work through Murray's corner. That's the second time we've seen that defense from him, so kudos there to Connor Bloom being able to hold on to that. Now Travis Brown, though, he knows he's got another shot here as they head up the mountain straight.
Picks up the slipstream as they start to hit 135 miles an hour up the mountain straight. Brian Salehi now the one picking up the fastest lap in this group. That has been changing hands frequently. Nothing doing, though, for the 300 car.
No, couldn't get it done there. It really looks like the 300 has the best speed coming off of the chase. That's really where he's able to make the move, as you can see just how close he is up there climbing the hill.
Sticking with him. Ooh, he looked a little off the apex. I can tell you that Bolton did get overtaken by Ost finally, so Michael Ost specifically back up to P5. So we watch these two ride across the ridge. Down through Skyline now. Falling back just a bit. It's half a second between Brown and Bloom. I'll be honest, DJ, whenever I race here, I kind of want to be a little bit farther back just in case something does happen to the car in front of me.
Yeah, exactly. That's my mentality of it. And, well, I would say that's my mentality. Joe, you have more strength and patience than I do, because when I see this come up on the schedule, it's normally a skip week for me because I don't have the talent to make it through the hill alive.
Tracks like this tend to treat me well because I tend to be good about bringing the car home as we get more battles. This time, it's going to be Ost overtaking Fulton. Now Michael Ost up into 4th place unless we get a fight back from the 277. He picks up the slipstream. He could try something if he really wanted to be gutsy here. Let's see if he does. He shows his nose, but he doesn't have the skills on the binders, and so he's got to settle into 5th. For the reference, Ost is now 8 seconds behind Connor Bloom. Last lap for Bloom, a 2:09. Ost, let's see, he's crossing now. Oh, a 2:02.1, and he is battling with traffic, so that's going to be hard to judge.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit tricky to judge, but I think Ost does have the outright speed here to make this work. Checking back in on the battle for the lead, though. Bloom holding a little bit of an advantage over Travis Brown. Gap about 2/10 of a second as they make their way through that right-hander up the hill.
Certainly looks like Brown likes these long straights. Either that or the slipstream's working very well for that Castrol liveried machine. Up and around into Frog Hollow now. This is, whoa, and into the wall. I was just about to say this is a surprisingly tricky part. And he does the smart thing. He tows before anybody comes upon him, which means Matt Hollander is now in 2nd place.
Holy moly, and Michael Ost may be able to close in a little bit as well, depending on how that goes. But right now, Hollander up 4 positions, doing a great job. He's running basically in a field by himself. But let's check out this issue with Travis Brown.
Does what many have done here. Just hits the inside wall. And at that point, you are a pinball.
Yeah, indeed. It looks like he clobbered that inside curbing, and that upset the car just enough that he couldn't get the front grip down to be able to get the car turning there. You can see that damaged Castrol liveried Porsche laying there in the pits.
Wow, it is a clear road now for Connor Bloom, which means we have a chance to look at the battle for the lead in the GT2s. Jad Duncan leads Mark Rondeau, and Duncan is looking for win number 3 of the season, and it would be his first back-to-back.
It would indeed, but Rondeau just putting pressure here. This gap is seesawed anywhere between about what you see right now, which is around 0.2 of a second, dropping back a little bit here to all the way upward near of a full second for Rondeau. So very, very good for him to keep up behind that bright yellow liveried Porsche.
It's only been a single win for Rondeau so far this season, and that was 2 rounds ago in 18. That was at Long Beach that he pulled that one up. Oh, and he looked quite slow coming out of the dipper there.
Yeah, it looks slow indeed, but not really enough straightaway to fully be able to get that going. Ooh, a little bit of a battle there as we see that is the injured Michael Bolton trying to hold off Bayan Salehi.
So Soleil's come back out, and has he used one of his spare cars? No, he has not. So despite that opening incident, this has been Salehi just marching his way through the fields. Unfortunately, now that he has caught Michael Bolton, he's in a part of the track where it's dangerous, not just difficult to pass, but does he dare risk the race? I guess he's already down the order some, so what's he got to lose?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing is you may lose a little bit of your respect of your fellow competitors, which can be a bit of a problem there, but I think he's going to want to push the best he can.
They're also chasing down BJ Fulton. It's not going to be far up the road when they get to him. Yeah, whoa, and a spin, and that's exactly what I was talking about before. As thankfully Salehi had time to make avoidance, so did Corey Lotfula behind them, and he's got enough of a clearance here that Michael Bolton can get turned around and keep driving. He's very, very lucky. He could have been T-boned.
Yeah, very lucky indeed, and everybody thanking their black box relatives there to be able to hold on to that and be able to avoid that incident. So I frankly wouldn't be surprised here for Michael if he pops on into the pits. Travis Brown is very far behind him. Take that spare car. Yeah, that was just a lazy spin there. That lack of downforce from the rear wing really coming back to bite him.
Oof, if he almost backed up into Lotfula there, so thankfully there was just enough time for him to squeak by. And that'll promote Salehi up to 5th, Lotfula up to 6th. I said Salehi gaining on Fulton. At least I thought he was. No, last time he was held up a bit by that incident. Still, he's running 2 flat 2s as his fastest lap. So yeah, he is on a charge. He could yet catch up to the 277 as we look at Michael Bolton now.
Yeah, and this is Bolton working his way through traffic. This is what I talked about, how tricky this can be coming up and down the hill. The leaders have already gotten by some of the GT2 field, but I can tell you that Connor Bloom has Jerry Freckelson and John Momeyer about 20 seconds up the road from him. So he will definitely catch him here on the last half of this race, and you better hope that he catches him on the long straightaways.
Apologies, that was Travis Brown that we were watching on board, where there you see him now past the GT2s, which he had to re-overtake because of his pit stop. Down into the final corner, Murray's Bend, and Jad Duncan is still about half a second ahead of Mark Rondeau. He's keeping him honest.
Keeping him honest indeed, just waiting to see if Jad will make a mistake here. That's a lot of what this is. I also think that it will be interesting that he may be waiting for that when traffic comes along. Oost getting very close behind Hollander here within 0.2 of a second. Oost completing that charge that we've talked about. Oost wants that position.
Here's the real challenge for Matt Hollander. He's been consistent, and that has been a huge key to being finishing well today, but Michael Oost has discovered why it's a huge key to finishing well, because he just went off and hit the barrier out of Murray's corner, and he gives up 3rd even to BJ Fulton. Well, I was about to say that Oost could easily get by Hollander since he has such better pace, but he's got to keep it on track to do that.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit of an issue of Oost just trying to overdrive the car, trying to be a little bit too aggressive with it and wanting more than the car can actually give to him. He's got to kind of reset here for a minute. But what this is going to set up that's going to be really fascinating is that's Bayan Salehi right behind him. And those are 2 of the fastest drivers during qualifying, remember. So we may see a little bit of a mini battle as they both try to climb their way through the field.
This could actually work out well for Salehi, because if he could use Oost as sort of a a hand through the crowd, if you will, and open up holes for him. He could just follow through, and the two of them, like you said, could work together to get up towards the front, maybe even the top, as they come around across the top of the mountain themselves right now. Well, that has taken this battle away just briefly, so let's give some love once again to our GT2 leaders, Duncan and Rondeau.
Yeah, Rondeau now a little bit closer here as they come down into the chase. You can see that purple machine closing in under braking. Little bit of a big clobber of that inside curbing, though, there. That's going to slow him down a little bit, and indeed that gap ballooning out to about 0.5 of a second. So Rondeau just continuing to apply pressure here, but Jad Duncan weathering it very, very well.
Whoa, and that was a mistake from Jad Duncan, so that time he didn't weather it well. And here comes an attempt from Mark Rondeau, looking for the inside into hell corner. Can he make it stick, because there could be an over-under from Duncan? No, he's got the lead after 5 second places. Rondeau's sick of those. He wants to rack up more firsts.
It was a little bit interesting there from Jad Duncan. It looked like he just couldn't get the car wound up underneath him to make the pass. It looked very, very sort of understeery as he was coming through the outside of that corner. But we have seen him have a little bit more speed than Rondeau on the whole. So let's see if Duncan's able to keep this up close. Although I will say Mark Rondeau does currently hold the fastest lap for these GT2s with a 2:15.7.
Wonder if he was waiting for his opportunity there. And I think we got a battle brewing between Ost and Fulton, and now they're starting to catch some lap traffic. That is John Mollmeyer trying to stay out of the way. Mollmeyer up to third right now. Freckelson has followed him through. So they went by a battle for position in the other class as well. Freckelson up to fourth.
Yeah, they did indeed, and very heads up there from both. Who was that? That was Travis Brown. Had a big issue up on the hill.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out. He was sideways after the dipper, but he was slow before that. I think he hit the wall at some point here. I'm trying to, it was in the cutting. It was all the way back in the cutting. He was trying to drive the car back. So it took him a long time to eventually reach the end of what that car could do here on the mountain. And now he might officially be done with this race. Yes, he just exited, and Travis Brown is going to DNF today.
Well, and Joe, you can see there some damage to Michael Ost. All of those excursions finally coming back to bite him. And you can see, Duncan spins.
Oh, and someone gets into the back of him.
That's Hollander.
Oh, no. Oh, no. And this allows Fulton back through into second place. Hollander falls to third. Salehi and Ost is going into pit lane.
Yeah, that rear wing damage, I think, and you can see it all on the right side of that 73 multicolored Porsche, really hurting him here, so he's going to take his spare car and try to go back out.
I wonder, is he going to is he doing a drive-through here for, because they have some incident limits. 17 as there you see getting turned around, our former leader in the GT2s, and tries to pull back on track, and Hollander just didn't see it coming.
Yeah, absolutely nowhere for him to go. So Hollander taking a big lick to the front of that car.
You were right, Ost took a spare car, so that was not a drive-through penalty. He's got a fresh machine, but now he's 38 seconds behind Connor Bloom. We do have a leader in the GT1s, by the way. Connor Bloom is now 12 seconds ahead of everybody and just cruising.
Yeah, he has got the race to himself pretty much coming up now. Whoa, we've got some multi-class mania going on there, as that is Mollmeyer currently getting past, as there you see that battle, though that is a battle that is very, very important. That's Mollmeyer and Freckelson. That is for podium position in the GT2s, and more importantly, it is Mollmeyer's trying to hold on to a chance at the championship.
So he really needs to stay ahead of Freckelson. Unfortunately, finishing ahead of him and this far down, I say this far down, it's only third and fourth. He's not going to gain a lot of points on him. He needs bigger inroads than this.
Yeah, he really does. He's just got to pray for something to happen to Jerry Freckelson. A little bit of a lock up there going down through the dipper. And they've also got to be careful. That's Jad Duncan coming up right behind them. Michael Ost with that fresh new car is going to catch these guys right where he wants to on the long, long Conrad Straight.
Credit to Travis Brown. He's back out on track. He has used both of his spare cars, unfortunately. So he's a real soldier today, but I'm not sure he'll be able to get many positions as going on by. Osts is now, well, he's got Momeyer still to go. This is our leader in the GT2s, and he finds just enough space to squeak past before he interrupts that battle. Whew, that has got to be frustrating for them. And Hollander has decided his damage is too much. He's taken the first of his spare cars.
All right, so that'll be a little bit interesting here. I think Ost will be able to get on by him. Indeed, I see Ost clearing him just about now. But yeah, as we said, we keep focusing back on this battle for P2. There's Freckelson poking his nose to the outside a little bit, just seeing if there's anything doing. It's going to fall back to the inside of John Momeyer. It's a smart move from Freckelson. Just show his nose, try to see if he can force an error, but not really go too hard for a massive overtake.
Something happened to our leader. Jad Duncan is in the pits. He's got to take a spare car. Mark Rondeau, oh, excuse me, that was our second place driver, Jad Duncan. Sorry. Even still, this bumps Momeyer into second, Freckelson into third.
Does indeed. So that'll be a better points haul for the two of them. Raises the stakes a little bit on this. Now a battle for the podium outright.
Absolutely. I think that's a 3-point difference now between those two positions as opposed to 2 points before. Again, slightly better for Momeyer. And you can see he's being threatened, but he's playing a great defense on Jerry Freckelson. As much as these two have been the main challengers in the championship for the GT2s, and here comes Matt Hollander. Oh, I was going to say he needs to play patient here, but he's deciding not to. He's going to split them. I was going to say Freckelson and Momeyer, I don't think they've had a lot of direct battles on track this season.
No, they really haven't, Joe. Whoa! Hollander just shoving that car in there through the corner. He's able to get by before the Conrad Straight, but that definitely slowed down John Momeyer a little bit. Hopefully he's able to get the exit out of Forrest's elbow just right. But we jump back here. This is Brian Salehi trying to close in a little bit. There's the move to the outside for Corey Lotfula looking behind on BJ Fulton. Here we go.
Should have a little bit better speed, and he is gaining, but he's not fully passed, and he's going to be on the outside early, braking from Fulton. This is tough to get done, but Salehi is tough enough, and he's finally back to where he began this race in P2.
Great recovery here for Brian Salehi. Bad news is he's still got about 12 seconds up the road to Connor Bloom. But I think Corey Lotfula may be trying to have a little bit of a look here too as he closes in. Corey wanting that podium if he can get it.
Corey started in fourth where he sits right now, and lap traffic once again becoming a big issue for our drivers. That was Larry Haas back there, just trying to stay out of the way. Lotfula now runs up close to the rear bumper of the 277.
Does indeed. Once again, it's all down to this crucial exit from Forrest's elbow. There you see Lotfula closing in. That red Porsche looking menacing in the rear view camera. He's got a really good run here now as they make their way onto the Conrad Straight.
Who's got the better straight line speed? My bets are honestly on Lotfula here, but he's not gaining as much as I would expect. So maybe he's also dealing with a fair bit of damage of his own. Looking for the shot down into the corner. Way too late on the brakes, maybe, for BJ Fulton. No, he is mighty on the brakes, apparently, as he closes in on the back of Salehi. He doesn't make a pass, but I thought he was going to hit that bumper.
I thought he was too, but able to keep that car under. Very impressive. Little bit of a bobble, though, there coming out of Murray's corner. And is this going to open up an opportunity here for Corey Lotfula? Pokes his nose to the inside. If I were you, Corey, I'd wait on it. And that's exactly what he does. Tries to get the good exit out of Hell's Corner. And now it's going to be a matter of a drag race again before they go into Quarry Bend.
But as we saw down Conrad, Lotfula just didn't seem to have enough straight line speed. Fulton, yeah, in fact, he's dropping back even within the slipstream here. Looks good under braking into Griffin's Bend. Oh, and very good through the mid-corner. He's got a great exit. Does he dare into the cutting? We're coming towards the late stages of the race. The pressure's on to make it stick. They give each other enough room, but he can't make it work.
And he's going to have to find himself behind that gray and neon car for a little bit while longer, as if you make a move going through here, you are for sure going to be in a world of trouble. So Corey's just got to focus on this the best that he can.
Credit to both drivers. That is not easy going into the cutting because you're braking and turning at the same time, and it is very single file. But neither made contact, and both kept very good control. They're not dropping off of Salehi as well. I would have thought that the 15 would be dashing away from this pair.
No, I'm pretty amazed by it as well, and I think that's part of the reason why we're seeing BJ Fulton able to keep close behind. But here comes Corey again, not waiting for the slipstream this time. He's going to try to make the move out of Forrest's elbow. They go side by side down the Conrad Straight, and despite all of that, Corey Lotvola looking like he's just got the outright speed.
He's going to have to outbrake him, though. It was a lockup through Forrest's elbow for Fulton that hindered him. Lotvola's got the inside. Can he keep it on the track? He does. He's got the move done. He's now into third. And as that was happening, Freckelson managed to get by Momeyer.
Did indeed. So if that sticks true, Jerry Freckelson will extend his championship lead here, though he is about 25 seconds back of Marc Rondeau. So I don't think we're going to see Jerry on the top step of the podium.
Jerry sailed by him in Hell Corner. And he's actually dropping him already. It's about a second between he and the number 6.
Yeah, look at that gap, and that is Travis Brown coming up behind John Momeyer right now. A little bit of a lockup there. I'm not sure from which one that was. Riding on the hood here of Brown as they come down through.
Yeah, poor Brown came back out, I suppose, to try and just get laps in. And maybe, I suppose, keep him from getting a DNF, which only gives you 1 point, but a finish as far down as you can be still gets you 2, and he puts 2 wheels into the dirt. I think all appearances of safety have gone out the window at this stage, since he knows there's not much he can really do about all this. He's not even on the same lap as Matt Hollander right now, so really Travis Brown is just making sure that he gets counted as a finisher.
Yeah, exactly. I think this is a little bit of a run for pride here for Travis as he makes his way past Jerry Freckelson. That's Jad Duncan right up ahead of him. That is not a battle on track. Jad about a lap down from Freckelson here. As I'm looking at this, I believe, though, our overall leader, Connor Bloom, as he comes through and into the cutting right now, I believe he's going to take the white flag this time by.
He will indeed. The 95 has got 1 lap to go, and I need to check my stats. We haven't seen Connor Bloom since, looks like, round 7, and he hasn't even been on the podium this whole season. His highest finish, I think, looks like he was around 8th or 9th.
Well, this is going to be a red letter day then for the Pink Pig, as he's only has 3.8 miles to go. Oh, in the back there, BJ Fulton doing an incredible drift through the corner. If we can get a replay on this, this is just impressive.
Wonder if he touched the grass on the way in. Didn't hit anything, but his battle with Lotvola seems to be a bit over now. Here we go.
Yeah, indeed. So here he comes in, closing in on Lotvola. No, didn't touch the grass, just a little bit of rear brake lockup. Just keeps it going the right way there. Just a different way to take the corner.
He doesn't need those tires after this lap anyway, so no worries about that as he spins them up. And there is our Pink Pig, the 95 of Connor Bloom. Oh, did Ost just overtake Bolton? Oh, Bolton actually went off track right as we were going to replay, apparently. And he didn't hit the wall, but he was slow.
He was indeed, and that allowed for Michael Ost to be able to slip on by and take that 5th place position. This is our leader, though, as he comes up behind Jad Duncan right now, your pole sitter in the GT2 category, and is about to put Jad a lap down. There he goes. Just a couple more corners here for Connor Bloom and that signature Pink Pig.
Down towards the chase for the 95 car. Looking for his brake marker. All he has to do is be nice and tight. He's got about 9 seconds to Salehi, so he can make some small mistakes. He can lighten up on the pace a little bit. But as he comes around to Murray's corner, it's going to be a big win on the return for Connor Bloom in the GT1 class here for the Porsche Owners Club.
Well, if you want a definition of a commanding drive, go ahead and put that one down in the dictionary. Connor Bloom able to win by about 9.5 seconds. Good battle for P2 here. Latvala trying to get by Salehi. Not going to be able to do it at the line. Bayan able to hold off the charging Corey Latvala.
That is good points for Bayan Salehi here in the championship over Brown, Latvala, Michael Johnson. And let's go to Rondeau as we see a little bit of celebration there from Bloom. And Mark Rondeau has been doing some phenomenal stuff lately. He has finished first and second in the last 2 rounds. So this is going to be 2 wins out of 3 races for him after it took him until, I believe, round 17 at Road America to finally get his first win in this series. And now it looks like he's gotten on top of things.
Certainly has, and done it in good fashion. And I know if I'm one of the drivers who's got to compete against him next season, I'm going to be very, very scared, because that GT4 driven by Mark Rondeau, the purple 171, has looked on fire recently, and that is going to be a contender for next year, especially if he's able to keep up this strong form.
And this is actually for overall position. So Brown will finish ahead of all of the GT2s. I guess that might be some consolation for him, as Rondeau takes the win here in the GT2 class at Bathurst. And he definitely is happy. Look at him flashing the lights. That's going to take us to a break here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. We'll come back with the unofficial results as well as driver interviews, so stick around. Welcome back to Mount Panorama Circuit here for round 20 that we just witnessed in the Porsche Owners Club Series. And it was Connor Bloom who took the win after he'd been missing for much of the season, as he started from 5th, and, well, he had the race pace as everybody else around him faltered. Salehi made a miraculous recovery, starting from 2nd, got punted in the very first corner and came back to P2 as Corey Latvala finished on the podium there at the 3rd step. BJ Fulton from 9th to 4th. Can't be too disappointed with that. Michael Ost, though, gotta be sad about getting pole and only managing to 5th place. Michael Bolton was P6. Last one on the lead lap was Matt Hollander, who was briefly as high as 2nd place, but he takes 7th. And it was Travis Brown, who had a miserable day, finishing 8th, and Michael Johnson was a DNF back there.
In the GT2 category, it was Mark Rondeau taking the win there after a fierce battle with Chad Duncan. Jerry Freckelson, who started from pit lane, came all the way up to finish 2nd, and following him, his title rival, John Momeyer, rounds out your podium. Chad Duncan there, as we said, suffered some issues and fell back to 4th place, followed by Frederick Chin and Larry Haas.
So That is going to take us to our second place finisher, Bayan Salehi, who had a rough road of it out there today. Everything kind of went wrong from the start. Bayan, you found yourself rudely shoved aside there at Hell Corner off the line. From there, though, that seemed like an impressive climb through the field.
Oh boy, that was a hell of a race, huh? Yeah, I got a little love tap at the start of turn one, but luckily I just had a forgiving little bounce off the wall, and it didn't seem like it damaged much. And I saw Corey also got the short end of the stick, and me and him have been back and forth all season, and he just told me on the radio, "Yo, let's do this." And yeah, we both of us just put our heads down and worked up the field. It was pretty stressful, but we made it happen.
Brown, Johnson, and Fulton also kind of suffered some problems out there, and you both gained points on them. So does that give you some encouragement, knowing that even if it wasn't a win, you kind of helped on the overall war?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I had some absences early on in the season, and now I'm paying for it. So I'm trying to be consistent for the rest of the season, and hopefully I'm aiming for at least P3. But we have some tough tracks coming up, so it's not going to be easy.
Yeah, that is for sure. You guys kind of ended this thing on a doozy. Regardless, is there anybody you want to thank for this podium today?
Yeah, I just want to thank my family watching back home, Team Salehi Racing, Sport Utility Motor Cars, and the Porsche Owners Club.
That was our second place finisher in the GT1s, Bayan Salehi. Up next, I think we have our winner in GT2s. DJ is talking to Mark Rondeau.
I am indeed. And Mark, that was a pretty great battle there early on with Jad. And then once Jad had his issues, it was off to the races and you were gone.
Yeah, Jad was really fast. He had great pace. And my plan the whole time was just to hang with him, sit behind him, and wait and see if he made a mistake. And he really, he came out of the last corner onto the front straight with a little bobble, and I just had enough pace to get on the inside for turn one. And then unfortunately he got tangled up with the leader of the GTE class. And that was it for him. And so I just backed off and tried to make clean laps and stay away from those god-awful walls.
Well, on the topic of those god-awful walls, when you're following behind Jad like that, how hard is it to rein in that racer's instinct if you see a little gap or something like that? I've got to imagine, being that close to somebody, you want to go for the gap and you've got to stop yourself because there's just no room up there.
Yeah, there really is no room, and you want to really be, 1 foot on the brake in case they tap a wall, because they're gonna boomerang all over the place. And, you're just going to end up getting collected if you're not careful. Fortunately, Jad and I are very familiar with each other racing, and he did a really good job. And if you get too close, it's not as bad as the RSRs. They're so wide in the back, you can't see around them at all. The GT4s are a little easier to see your marks.
Yeah, indeed. I have to imagine that. So I guess with that, knowing that you've got some of those faster cars coming up through the mountain and down there, what's your mindset when you see them coming on?
Try to see how far back they are and figure out where you want them to pass you when they're still 6 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds as they're coming up. You guys probably saw it. I tried to make every pass by them clean and give them plenty of room without putting myself in jeopardy.
Well, I'd say you did it pretty well, Mark. Anybody you'd like to thank for this win here today?
POC for putting on these events. GSRC, you guys are an awesome broadcast channel. My family and friends, and just thank you, everybody.
Well, thank you, John. Mark, excuse me, Mark. That was Mark Rondeau, your winner in the GT2 class. And next, Joe Peak has caught up with your second place in the GT2 class, Jerry Freckelson.
How's it going, guys? We'll have
Jerry, and I'm
mistake. I'm sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, man, I started out with a huge mistake on the in the pits, and I got a little bit nervous with the fuel that I had in there. So I jumped at the very last minute to change the fuel, but it kind of seemed like it was a blessing in disguise for the starts.
I wondered about that because we thought maybe you did it intentionally. It certainly helped you get out of much of the chaos there at the start. So then tell us, I mean, what did you do from there mentally? How did you get yourself in the mindset of what needed to happen in this race?
Could do. I just put my head down and just drove, and I probably concentrated more on that race than any other race. You know, all the stuff Michael W. Johnson has taught me. Well, I was able to pull it out, and I can't believe I remembered all the stuff he's been hammering in my head to get me to where I'm at today, you know?
Yeah, I think it did a fantastic job on that.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, you weren't able to take the win, but you still
No.
finished ahead of your main championship rival. We were just talking that we're starting to think it's looking ever more likely that you're going to wrap this up before the final round. Even is that what you're hoping for?
Well, it would be nice. I'm not pushing for that. I'm just trying to finish in the top 3 every time. Like, well, unfortunately, like the last race we had, I got taken out, or I think I possibly might have been on the podium. And I think today I could have. My pace is getting better, so chasing Mark and Jad. I need to say a thank you to both those guys. They've been helping me out, you know, and I mean, it's a great club and a great uh, bunch of guys that are involved in this. And it's just a lot of fun, and people are helping everybody. And I can't say enough good about the club itself, you know.
And I think that's a real testament to what it's all about here at POC. I know we always ask this, but is there anybody you want to thank for this podium here today?
Well, let me see. The last time I talked to you, I thanked my dog Peabody, but I would like to thank you guys and you know the GSRC for putting all this stuff on and making it really look real and feeling real. And my family, they watch it, they have a ball watching it, and they get so involved in it they think they're watching something real. And then again, Michael W. Johnson for all the stuff he's been doing for me, and all the guys in the club. I mean, everybody gets a that a boy. I mean, everybody worked rather well today. I know there were mishaps, but it could have been a lot worse at this track than any other one.
Yeah, absolutely. This one really bites you if you let your guard down. Again, congratulations, Jerry, and looking forward to seeing you at Phillip Island.
Yeah, great. We'll see you there. Thank you.
Jerry Freckelson, second place today. And let's head back to our GT1 class because DJ's caught up with Corey Lotfula, the other part of the Chargers through the field.
Indeed, Corey, we heard there, the little bit of communication of, all right, we're going to do this together. Let's go. But talk me through that battle up through the field.
Oh, man. I'm usually pretty dangerous when I'm pissed off. And I was pretty pissed off at the beginning of that race. And I was just pushing as hard as I can. And I told Brian, I'm like, dude, like, let's do this. And I feel like we did pretty well.
You certainly did, and you weren't really looking like you were driving in a red mist there. So, I mean, talk me through that emotion. Were you able to tamp it down a little bit, or did that just help you out here?
I think it just makes me concentrate better. Not very many mistakes. I think I got a 0x. I bounced off the wall, not very hard, just like barely tapped it. But other than that, if I got anything else, I probably wouldn't have been in the position I was.
Gotcha. Well, we head to a little bit more wide open of a track next at Phillip Island. It's one of my personal favorites on the sim, actually. How do you think things are going to go there?
Hopefully better. Hopefully I can do better than third place, and hopefully I can make it through the first corner without getting hit.
Well, we wish you the best of luck on that as well. Corey, anybody you want to thank for this run here today?
I just want to thank you guys, POC, for putting everything on. Dave from Schmidt Racing, all my friends and family that watch, and that's about it. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Corey. That was your third place finisher, Corey Lotville, in those GT1s. And now, Joe, I believe you've caught up with our final podium finisher here today, John Momeyer.
Indeed, third place here for John. And this had to have been a weird one, John, because suddenly you see Jerry Freckelson leave the grid and go way back from a pit start. So that had to have been nice for you. But at what stage did you see him catching? When did that kind of dawn on you?
Every lap when he was getting 2 seconds closer a lap. Every time I went down the front straightaway, it went, yeah, the guys in front are getting 2 seconds further away. And here comes Jerry, 2 seconds every lap on me. They had about 2 seconds on me in qualifying and practice, and had some more time with the downhill skiing here attempt on as we did this tonight. So I was just really proud of Mark, myself, and Jerry. I think I had a 0. Mark had a 0 incident, and Jerry only had a 1 through that whole race.
That is impressive, honestly. That's fantastic stuff. I take it then your goal here was just, bring it to the finish and let things sort themselves out from there?
As usual, try to make it to the finish without bouncing off a wall and collecting incidents. Jad must have had something happen that put him back. I remember going by him and then watching Jerry, but there's plenty of cars going off at the start of the race or other places. I'm sure we'll be talking about it for the next half hour and watching the replay.
I have no doubt about that. Heading off to Phillip Island, a little bit more open track, but also quite demanding. How do you feel heading over there?
Man, we go to so many different tracks. I'm not even sure I own this one. We'll have to go take a look and see. So it's a different every 2 weeks. This venture Max got us on. It's pretty crazy. And we've got Ross Bentley actually coming out on October 23rd to do some training seminar with us at the POC, and wanted to give him a shout out this today, as well as all my family watching, and Precision Motion for taking care of the car at the racetrack.
Great stuff. Thanks for coming and talking to us, John, and look forward to seeing you again in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
It's John Momeyer, third place here today, and wraps up our interviews. So let's give a big thank you to our sponsors before we take off, which includes Porsche. There is no substitute. Find out more at Porsche.com. And Sunset Mortgage. Don't put your money in the bank, be the bank. Check them out today at sunsetcash.net. And Octavio Tequila. Celebrate now. For a great tasting tequila, go to octaviotequila.com and purchase today. And finally, Century Financial Consultants, making the rest of your life the best of your life. You can check out their website at centuryretire.com. Thanks to the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcast listed here on your screen. And additional thanks to June Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music. Check out her Bandcamp for more awesome work. Thanks to the team today, DJ, Zach, and Dougie. You can find more info about GSRC at globalsimracingchannel.com or through our social media listed here. Check out our merchandise store at simracingmerch.com/GSRC. There's a link down in the description below, so it's easy to get to. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel while you're down there. As we mentioned, stick around for 2 weeks, because at Phillip Island, we'll kick it off for round 21 on October 25th, 11 p.m. Eastern. We also have upcoming races for other series listed on the screen. Check those out, mark them down on your calendar. Until next time, race clean, race hard. We'll see you on the track.